Hey, 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 blues shuffle in A. We've got our first finger laying flat on fret 5. We want to catch the low E string. Some people just like to use their tip of their finger. I like to bar it so that when I shift down later in the shuffle, my finger is already planted on fret 5. So needless to say, I've got my first finger on fret 5, and then I take my second finger and I put it on the A string at fret 7. Some people like to use their third finger, but that makes this stretch awfully difficult. I like to have the stretch come between these two fingers. And what we're going to be doing is just strumming down on the two strings. We're going to do two downs, one and then we drop our pinky on the 9th fret on the A string, and that's two and then we lift it, 3 and 4 and that's one measure. We're going to do 4 measures on the low E and the A string, and then after those 4 measures, we shift this finger down to the D string, and we move down to the A and the D string now, and we do 2 measures. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and then we're going to do one more of those. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and then we shift back up. Our second finger comes back to the A string, and we do 2 measures over here. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and then our whole hand shifts up to the 7th and the 9th fret on the A and the D string, and we do 1 measure here. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and I'm picking down every time. The whole shape shifts back on the same strings, the A and the D string. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and then we come up back to the A chord over here. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and then we go back down to the 7, 9 and the 11 on the 2 thinner strings. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and that's a 12-bar blues. We had 4 measures here, then we had 2 measures here, then back to 2 measures here, and then we had 1 measure, 1 measure, 1 measure, and 1 measure. Here's the whole thing. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 2 and 2 and 3 and 4, 3 and 2 and 3 and 4, 4 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2 and 3 and 4 and 2 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, 2 and 2 and 3 and 4, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 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 that's the whole thing. You could put tons of different songs together with that. 1 for the money and 2 for the show, 3 to get ready and go, go, go. But don't you step on my blue suede shoes. Well, you can do anything but lay off of them blue suede shoes. There you go. Your hand is going to definitely cramp up. You want to try and find the sweet spot. I always like to have my thumb behind the neck, pointing up in between the shuffle shape. So it's almost like it's lined up with the second finger over here, back here. And you're also trying to find the sweet spot between how hard you're squeezing in to make the notes ring versus how hard you actually need to squeeze in. Because of this awkward stretch, everybody cramps down much harder than they actually need to, and then that makes your hand hurt even more. The goal is to get through the shuffle 4 to 5 times, more preferably 5. That would be 4 verses and then 1 solo. So that would be a full song. There you go, blues shuffle in A. Remember, A, 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 D, D, A, A, E, D, A, E. Blues shuffle. Or 1 chord, 1 chord, 1 chord, 1 chord, 4 chord, 4 chord, 1 chord, 1 chord, 5, 4, 1, 5. That's it. Enjoy.